This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
Supporters of the Civilian Conservation Corps have some advocates on Capitol Hill, including Central Washington Congressman Dan Newhouse.
15 children from throughout Grant County took over law enforcement and fire agencies on Thursday as part of the 18th annual Chief for a Day.
The Washington Department of Labor and Industries has filed an official proposal that would restore overtime pay for thousands of workers in the state.
Last Friday, the WIAA announced that they were not going to renew their contract with the Tacoma Dome for state football.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
Supporters of the Civilian Conservation Corps have some advocates on Capitol Hill, including Central Washington Congressman Dan Newhouse. The Sunnyside Republican joined 50 Congress members of both parties pushing back on the U.S. Department of Agriculture's decision to shut down Forest Service Job Corps centers, like the one in Moses Lake, and turn over their facilities to private contractors. About a third of the 25 Job Corps centers nationwide would close for good, and the rest, including the Columbia Basin Center at Moses Lake, would be privatized. The closures would take place in September and lay off 1,100 Forest Service workers who staff the facilities. But on Tuesday, Newhouse proposed a budget amendment that would block the initiative. Montana's John Tester, a Democrat, introduced a similar bill in the Senate. The two men are among 18 senators and 33 members of the House who signed a letter to Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue demanding the program be preserved. Job Corps facilities train disadvantaged youth in multiple trades, including firefighting. About 230 students attend the Moses Lake Center each month.
These students provided public service, one which would be far more expensive to replace than the way we currently offer under the program.
Two of Washington's 3 Job Corps centers are in Newhouse's congressional district. The one at White Swan on the Yakima Indian Reservation is slated for complete closure.
These centers provide both an investment for the conservation of our public lands, but more importantly, a human investment in our communities.
Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination, from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata.
15 children from throughout Grant County took over law enforcement and fire agencies on Thursday as part of the 18th annual Chief for a Day. The new chiefs arrived in style with a police motorcade to the Grant County Courthouse, where family, friends, classmates, and community members gathered to celebrate the 15 children donning the uniform of their respective agency. Each child living with physical or developmental challenges was empowered as chief for the day and were sworn in by Grant County Superior Court Judge David Estudillo.
These kids are courageous, strong, full of spirit, and show all of us that life is what you make it. Their lesson to us all is that you can lead by example even if you don't know you're doing it. So young chiefs and sheriffs, thank you for being here and leading our offices today. I know that you will do a great job.
Grant County Commissioners also proclaimed June 6th as Chief for a Day. Following the ceremony, the new chiefs also had the chance to explore various police and fire vehicles and take a ride on the Grant County Sheriff's Office Posse Horse. The annual event is sponsored by Ephrata-based Thomas A. Bora Foundation, a nonprofit focused on helping special needs children. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
The Washington Department of Labor and Industries has filed an official proposal that would restore overtime pay for thousands of workers in the state. Washington's rules regarding overtime pay have not been updated since 1976 and have long been considered obsolete by many state officials. The sweeping changes would dramatically increase the minimum threshold employees must earn before they can be considered exempt from receiving overtime. Employers in the state are currently using the federal standard, which exempts certain types of salaried workers from receiving overtime if they are paid a minimum of $455 per week, or roughly $24,000 annually. The state's 43-year bar for OT exemption is even lower at $13,000 per year. L&I's new proposal would greatly increase those requirements to $675 per week and approximately $35,000 annually for employees of small businesses, and $945 per week, or roughly $49,000 annually, for those employed by larger companies. In addition to the wage thresholds, L&I's proposal would also simplify the assessment for which types of workers qualify for overtime benefits by more closely aligning them with methods of determination used at the federal level. The department will be holding a series of public meetings to collect input on the proposed rule changes beginning on mid-July, including one which is currently slated for Ellensburg on August 5th. If approved, the new protocols would go into effect by the summer of 2020. Reporting for iFIBER 1 News, I'm Chris Hansen.
Last Friday, the WIAA announced that they were not going to renew their contract with the Tacoma Dome for state football. This ends a tradition of the Tacoma Dome hosting every state championship game for football, a tradition that's been in effect since the 1995 and 1996 season. The Tacoma Dome has recently made renovations that make it a less favorable football viewing experience. The renovations, plus the expensive fee, caused the WIAA to move on. The WIAA is on the hunt for potential sites that can accommodate state championship games and will plan to finalize locations this coming fall. The change will likely mean the end of a single site championship, with multiple venues being considered all across the state. Elmira Cooley Heartline football coach Brandon Walsh has led his team to the state title games in back-to-back years, where he won in 2017 and fell to Odessa in 2018. He said, quote, "Obviously, that'd be nice for fans to not have to travel. But coming from a small town, the Tacoma Dome is cool. We don't get to play at big venues very often. With that said, it doesn't matter where it's at. It won't lessen the experience of making it to the championship game, and I'm sure the WIAA will make it an event worth being at." The WIAA will announce their new championship sites once they've decided on them. I'm Adam Chikoski for iFIBER 1 Sports.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.